Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out, my old friend Darren Barker, obviously known latterly as the trainer of Dave Allen. Coach Barker, indeed. Dave's going to come along at the 12 Freeze gym here in Paddington later on today, your 12 Freeze gym, I should point out, and do a workout for all of us, which I'm sure will be delightful. How has he been looking generally? And preparation's been split between London and up north, right?
Yeah, I guess the benefits of me being a former fighter is I understand the mentality of a fighter, and when you do 2 camps back to back, which he literally had 2 weeks off, but he was still ticking over. You can run a bit stale, and what I used to like to do was, I was very fortunate of my home comforts. I used to love being around home, so the last 3 weeks has been about splitting the time between here and up north, and Dave's happier for it. Don't get me wrong, we've done the bulk of the work down here at 12 Freeze in London for this camp and the camp before against Brown. And yeah, it's gone really well. He's impressing me daily. He's sharp, he's listening, like I've said numerous times. He's very clear on the approach for the fight and the game plan. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Before we talk about the fight itself with David Price next week, just tell us a little bit about the process of getting your official Boxing Border Control trainer's license, because that's now come through and you'll be in the corner obviously next week.
Yes, it still feels weird. But basically what I had to do was you go for an interview in front of the Southern Area Council. I knew everyone there, so there's 3 people there. Darren, we know who you are, blah, blah, blah. That was it. So
make sure it's actually you, and then you give you the
me. They ask you why you want to do it, and it's pretty obvious.
What was your answer?
I just said, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed what I've been doing with Dave so far, and I don't think it will go beyond Dave, if I'm deadly honest. And they'll laugh and say, yeah, everyone says that, but for me, I've got lots of other things going on, and I get on with Dave, and I never say never, but anyway, from there, I had a course up in Motherwell. I had to go to Scotland because it was the only course that got me the licence in time. Would get me the licence in time for the 20th, which is a shame because there's a course at the end of July in London. That's Sod's Law.
And it would have robbed you of the chance to see Motherwell.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm none the wiser because it rained the whole time, whilst it was 31 degrees down here apparently. So, but yeah, and that was it. The licence come through a couple of days later, and I'm thrilled. And I actually said the other day that boxing's been good to me. It has, I've achieved an awful lot more than, I probably ever dreamt of. I had some mad, crazy dreams of winning world titles and that, and I can't believe that actually come true. And now, look, I'm stood there talking to you with a professional coach's license. It's mad, the sport's been very kind to me, and this is another chapter in my boxing career, I guess.
Dave's obviously got his biggest challenge so far against David Price. Been on a great run, Dave Allen. 4 inside the distance wins in a row. Now goes up against David Price, which most people call in a genuinely 50-50 fight. A lot of people seem to think it's either David Price early or Dave Allen middle to late rounds. Could we see something surprising though, like a late rounds victory for Price, or in your view, maybe an early victory for Dave? Yeah,
possibly. Boxing's a mad sport, isn't it? I've seen crazier things. I've seen someone paraglide in the ring with it bow around Holyfield, so who knows? Anything could happen. But yeah, that would be the smart money, I guess. But just on that, being quite technical or tactical with David Price looking for an early knockout, if that is the case, letting your hands go does make you vulnerable and exposed. So there could be a flip side. Dave Allen, that is predicting an early knockout himself. So that anything could happen. We're sort of prepared for both scenarios. And one thing's for sure, Dave's fit enough for 15 rounds.
All the stuff Dave's been saying about going for an early knockout, it's going to be a war, he'll be shocked if the fight's still going on past 4 rounds, etc., etc. How much of a challenge is it for you as the man in the corner to kind of rein him in a little bit, make sure he stays patient, looks for openings?
Yeah. Well, it's an important job for me to not get carried away and not get too emotionally involved, during the fight, and make sure that when if his head goes or he gets a bit carried away, that I get back to the corner and sort of calm him back down and get him back on the plan. And the plan's not rocket science, if I'm deadly honest. There are 2. There are a plan for if Dave Price comes forward, and there's a plan if Price tries to outbox Dave. So yeah, it'd be a case of me just reminding him of the best game plan at the time. But it's like I say, it's not rocket science.
You've seen Dave obviously in the gym. You know his heart. You know his durability, endurance. He's not been dropped before. Do you think he's just one of those fighters out there who, no matter how hard the opponent hits, he's just not going to go down? Or is David Price potentially got the power to change that?
I think anyone can get knocked out if you're on the correct spot. You can get knocked out, and that's one thing with David Allen that I've got to keep reminding. You've got to stay switched on, and you can't rely on your toughness and your chin and your durability as you step up the levels, because it could be over in a split second. So that we've sort of, that is a sort of safety net, if you like, that he can take a good shot. I want him to rely on a tight guard, head movement, and quick feet. Because that's another thing. That's one of the things he surprised me with most when he come in the gym the first time. For the build-up of the Brown fight was how well he can move his feet. And you'll all see sort of when he comes in here, when he gets in the gym, we'll move around, and he's very, very sharp on his feet. And for me, whenever I'm sort of teaching someone at any level down at this gym, I always try to use their footwork as their first point of call when it comes to defence, getting in and out, just get out of the way. So yeah, I'd like him to use his feet in this as well, not just coming forward but going backwards.
How much would a win over David Price for Dave Allen mean to you personally? And also, if he does come through this, who would you ideally like to see him fight next?
I've got someone in mind, and we spoke, and I've actually spoken to Eddie, and if and when I think it potentially could happen, but I'm not going to say anything yet because I don't want to look like we're overlooking David Price, because we're not.
Chisora?
No, it's not. No. By the way, that would be an epic fight, because I went up to Dave Caldwell's gym and they had a tremendous spar. It was really fireworks. But no, that's not the name we're thinking about. But anyway, what was the question again?
How much would it mean to you if he wins this, and who would you like him to fight afterwards?
Yeah, so I've got that name, which I'm not going to tell you.
British or international? Can you tell us that?
International. Yeah, I think we will sort of go down a different sort of route, if I'm honest. Look, if a British title shot was to come up, we'd have to think about it. But again, I'm being a former professional boxer and having an approach that I used to, and I never used to get too carried away. I'd like to have a carrot being dangled and one eye on the bigger prize, but firmly our sights are set on David Price. But for me, it would be I'll be chuffed, I'll be over the moon, and this is all about Dave Allen. There's nothing to do with me. I'm just here to help him out as much as I can. But for me, being his coach and a friend, I'll be over the moon for him and celebrating all the hard work he's put in. And
last question, is it Martin Bakole?
Nope. we was going to do a bit of sparring with Bakole, but it didn't. Do you know what? That didn't happen. And we had a couple of cancellations and sparring, which was I wouldn't say a nightmare, because looking at Dave's longevity in the sport, I didn't want him doing bundles of sparring anyway, where I think he's done so much before with AJ, Klitschko, Fury. He's been in there with all of them, that I did want to rein in the sparring a little bit, because he's 27 years old, and as a heavyweight, you can go on for a few years. So though it was important for him to get his eye in, I didn't want him to get, be having wars in the gym, because they don't do your longevity any good. But no, it's not Bakole.
So when his next fight does occur, will you tell us if it was the person you intended all along?
Of course I will.
So fans out there, get on our comments on our YouTube channel and guess who you think it is, and we'll know next time out.
Yeah, I'll be deadly honest with you. And like I say, I don't want to be disrespectful to David Price or look like I'm overlooking him or David's. It's just me as a coach now, and I guess / manager. I'm trying to map out Dave's career to an extent, but it's difficult when you've got such a danger man in front of you. So, yeah, let's forget about that and worry about next Saturday.
At least it wasn't on camera. It's all fine. Yeah. No, it's just between us.
Oh, no, it's on camera because I've got that bloody light beaming in my face.
The famous seconds out blinding light. Yeah. Don't worry, you're not going to God. It's okay. All right, we really appreciate the time. Best of luck, obviously, for next week.